common thread for yourself throughout your musical career has been your collaboration with Bill Putt.
We've been playing together for 42 years now, so that's longer than a lot of marriages I can think of.
Why the collaboration for 42 years? Is it something you can't explain, or is there just a chemistry?
Oh, well, I hope there's no chemistry.
Musical chemistry?
There's a musical chemistry, yeah, perhaps. Look, we get along okay, and in this business, that's almost a good enough excuse, because generally, in the space of 2 or 3 years living in each other's pockets, you get pretty sick of each other, and just minor things can prove to be major sticking points, and the band can break up over really trivial kind of issues. So, look, Bill and I tolerate each other, and we get there is a kind of musical telepathy happening on stage, so we enjoy that.
And with the songwriting too, is it a case of Mike Rudd will contribute so much and he'll say, oh look, Bill, I'm just lost in this middle section of the song, and he may add something? Or are you the prime songwriter?
Look, I'm the prime songwriter most of the time, our collaborations usually that Bill will come up with an instrumental piece, and I'll work over that piece, and that's the way the collaboration happens. I'll add the lyrics to it and melody and structure. But having said that, I mean, he comes up with some perfectly acceptable, mostly instrumental songs himself. Although if you were to check out our website, you'll find a couple of very interesting contributions by Bill. But yeah, look, most of the time when I'm writing a song by myself, that's the way it ends up by being. It's mostly by myself, and I'm responsible for everything about it, really.
Back in the mid-'60s, before you moved to Australia, you're a young budding musician. Who were your greatest musical influences? Was it the usual cliches of the Beatles and the Stones, or someone out of left field?
Oh, well, look, it had to start off with the Beatles, really, although initially, before that, there was a folk boom, the hootenanny boom, and I suppose that, bands like the Kingston Trio and so forth were an inspiration at the time to pick up the guitar, and certainly, and then the Shadows, all the bands around were doing Shadows in those days, and even Max Merritt was which was a surprise to me, had I'm not sure whether it was the Meteors then, but the band he had at the time, they were doing Shadows moves, and I find that hard to believe, but there you go. And when the Beatles came along, they changed the whole game in so many ways, and then the Rolling Stones came along, and they were the alternative. But when the scene started getting more along that blues side of things, that rhythm and blues side of things, we started investigating more and started finding more obscure, mostly English artists. We didn't really look at the American scene, so all our blues experience was second hand. But we did come across some interesting bands in that little search. Like probably our principal inspiration for a while there was the Pretty Things, who never actually visited Australia, but they did tour New Zealand, and it did have an incredible influence on the bands over there, that tour.
Stage with a didgeridoo, a harmonica guitar and a snare drum too. He's a one-man band with a message strong. He's gonna sing his song and he's gonna sing it long. It's true. Everyone I meet on the street is sweet on you. And now I got news for everyone. The name is the same as
In the late 60s, early 70s, Spectrum were known as a progressive rock band. Now, considering the music of those times, which was amazing, why do you think this was the case? Why was that label put on the band, and were you comfortable with it?
Oh, look, there was no such thing in the days then that we were actually playing that music. That was retrospectively applied, and I suspect probably the term didn't even come into fashion until the 80s at the very earliest. I think we were like a lot of bands at the time. I mean, as you say, the music was amazing around that time because everybody was, pretty much everybody was exploring. There were pop bands, and then there were the other bands that were kind of had gone through the pop phase, maybe slightly disillusioned, and were experimenting with their music along with other things. and we were one of those. But I mean, sometimes there were really ordinary rationales for instance, having really long songs, because we didn't have a lot of songs, so a lot of them got stretched to fill out a set. So that was the reason that we played quite a few long songs.
I was only a bub in the early 70s, and so I'm a bit too young to remember, but when I look back and I watch the footage and I listen to the songs, because I just think they're great songs from that era, what was it like being around the Australian music scene back in the early 70s? Because it seemed the artists were so inspirational and also so authentic in the music that they produced.
Well, I think you're right, and a lot of it's got to do with the fact that it hadn't been done before. That particular musical odyssey hadn't been attempted before. It was kind of exciting, and I think that we went through an era that will probably never be repeatable. Definitely won't be, because it's all been done basically. I feel sorry for kids today looking round because at where they might go musically speaking, because it's basically all been done, so they're just going to be doing variations on what was around. Yeah, look, there was a fair bit of cross-fertilisation going on. When you'd play with a band, another band that was on the scene at the time, you'd pick up stuff and get interested in what they're doing. And of course there was a fair bit of competition between the bands as well. So no, it was very exciting times.
Was there a bit of camaraderie as well besides the competition?
Probably not as much as there should have been. I don't think. I look at the American scene, and a lot of those bands were talking to each other, socialising with each other and playing music with each other. I don't think it was quite the same, but having said that, I think Spectrum were kind of out on their own a bit, and we did follow a fairly solitary course.
I got a call from Queensland the other day. Still wanted us to come up for his 60th